Yeah, I'm 10, 12 years in. I got 4 MVPs and 4 championships. Like, but do I still want to do this shit? You know what I'm saying?
Because you know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I want to come back. Or some people say, I'm going to go 22 straight.
Coward.
We come to practice, he's on one leg. Like he was hurt the second year, he was on one leg the whole year and played 82 games. Like, and so he practiced every day and he played every game on one leg. And so he's like, man, MJ, why don't you just sit up? How can I be the leader of the team and sit out and y'all going through all the credit? I gotta be there.
I twist my ankle, and I had a teammate, David Greenwood. He says, you know, you twist your ankle, young fella, come over and sit with me. You know, this is, you need to. I said, no, man, I'm trying to make a name for myself. There's no way I can sit. You know, I need to get out there and show what I'm capable of. I want to play. I want to win. I want to make an impact.
Michael Jordan just went nuclear, and the entire basketball world is still picking up the pieces. When Magic Johnson's name got dragged through the mud by two of the game's biggest superstars, everyone expected silence. But MJ doesn't do silence. In a moment that's already being called the most brutal takedown in NBA history, Jordan didn't just defend Magic, he absolutely destroyed LeBron James and Kevin Durant for what he called the ultimate disrespect to a legend who paved the way for everything they have. This isn't just another Twitter beef. This is a full-scale war between generations, and what Jordan said behind closed doors is finally leaking out. You're not ready for this. Let's rewind to where this all began, because what you're about to hear has been simmering for months before it finally exploded in early 2025. Magic Johnson, one of the most beloved figures in basketball history, made some comments during a recent appearance that should have been harmless. He was talking about the evolution of the game, how players today have different advantages, and how the foundation built by his generation created opportunities that simply didn't exist before. Standard stuff from a legend, reflecting on his era, right? Wrong. Because what happened next was a masterclass in subtle disrespect that only true basketball heads caught at first. LeBron James, during a podcast appearance that's conveniently not on mainstream media yet, was asked about Magic's comments. His response? A dismissive chuckle followed by something along the lines of, "Every generation thinks they had it harder. But when you look at what we've accomplished, the level of competition we've faced, the global stage we perform on, I'll just leave it at that." That pause, that smirk, it said everything. But LeBron wasn't alone. Kevin Durant, never one to miss an opportunity to stir the pot, jumped in on his own platform with even sharper words. KD basically implied that Magic played in a watered-down era, that the league wasn't truly global yet, and that modern superstars face scrutiny and pressure that Magic's generation couldn't even imagine. The basketball world started buzzing immediately. Twitter exploded. Old heads were furious. Younger fans defended their heroes. But here's what nobody expected. The one person who wasn't going to let this slide was watching from the shadows, getting angrier by the day. Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
All right, Laker Nerd asks, why is the triangle offense less utilized in today's game?
To try to run the triangle offense right now, it'd be very challenging just because how the game is played and also how defense is covering.
Now, if you know anything about MJ, you know he doesn't jump into every debate. He's been famously quiet about comparing eras, about ranking players, about getting involved in modern NBA drama. When people beg him to comment on LeBron's legacy or KD's championships, he usually gives a diplomatic answer and moves on. But this was different. Magic Johnson isn't just another player to Michael Jordan. They're brothers. They shared the 1992 Dream Team experience, one of the most iconic moments in basketball history. When Magic announced his HIV diagnosis in 1991 and the world didn't know if he'd ever play again, Jordan was one of the few players who pushed for Magic to be on that Olympic team. He fought for him. He respected him. He loved him. So when MJ heard what LeBron and KD said about Magic, sources close to Jordan say he was absolutely furious in a way people rarely see. We're talking about the same competitive psychopath who took personal offense to everything, who created enemies out of thin air just to fuel his fire. Imagine how he felt when two players he's already skeptical about decided to disrespect one of his closest friends in basketball. Here's where it gets really interesting. In mid-January 2025, Jordan was at a private dinner with several former players and executives. The conversation naturally shifted to the LeBron KD comments about Magic, and that's when MJ unleashed what insiders are calling the most savage takedown they've ever heard him deliver. According to multiple people in that room, Jordan didn't hold back. He said, and this is as close to a direct quote as we can get, they wouldn't have a league to play in without Magic Johnson. Not the money, not the endorsements, not the global platform, none of it. And for them to sit there and act like they built something from scratch when they walked into a mansion that Magic and Larry built brick by brick, that's not just ignorant, that's disrespectful to everyone who came before them. But Jordan wasn't done, not even close. He continued, pointing out that LeBron and KD have the luxury of being billionaires in a league that Magic literally saved from irrelevance. He brought up how the NBA was tape delayed in the finals before Magic and Bird showed up. He talked about how Magic played through an era where one mistake could end your career because the media wasn't forgiving and social media didn't exist to control your narrative. And then came the knockout blow that's been whispered about ever since. They talk about pressure. Magic found out he had HIV and still showed up to the biggest stage in the world at the Olympics while people were afraid to guard him. That's pressure. What they deal with is inconvenience. The room went silent. Nobody could believe what they just heard. But everyone knew one thing. Jordan meant every single word. And here's where it gets absolutely insane, because what Jordan said next wasn't just a defense of Magic, it was a calculated destruction of everything LeBron and KD have built their brands on. Stay with me, because this next part changes everything. Let's break down exactly why Michael Jordan felt compelled to go nuclear, because this isn't just about loyalty. This is about historical facts that can't be disputed no matter how many followers you have. Magic Johnson entered the NBA in 1979, the same year as Larry Bird. The league was in crisis. Ratings were declining. Finals games were being shown on tape delay because nobody cared enough to watch them live. The NBA had an image problem, a financial problem, and a relevance problem. Then Magic and Bird happened. Their rivalry saved professional basketball. Not metaphorically, literally. The Showtime Lakers versus the blue-collar Celtics became must-see television. Magic's smile, his charisma, his revolutionary style of play as a 6'9" point guard changed what people thought basketball could be. He made it entertaining. He made it glamorous. He made it profitable. By the time Michael Jordan entered the league in 1984, Magic had already laid the foundation for what the NBA would become. The global expansion, the marketing machine, the idea that basketball players could be worldwide superstars. Magic pioneered all of it. Because Jordan knows this better than anyone because he benefited from it directly. The Bulls dynasty in the 90s was built on a platform that Magic constructed. The dream team that made basketball a global phenomenon? Magic was there despite his diagnosis, proving that the game was bigger than fear and ignorance. Now fast forward to LeBron and KD. They entered a league with billion-dollar TV contracts, guaranteed max contracts, global branding opportunities, and social media platforms to control their narratives. They've never had to wonder if their games would be tape delayed. They've never had to question whether the league would survive. They walked into a palace and acted like they built it themselves. That's what Jordan can't stomach. And here's the business side that makes Jordan's anger even more justified. Magic Johnson didn't just play basketball. He became an entrepreneur who invested in communities, brought ownership opportunities to minority executives, and showed players they could be more than just athletes. He opened doors that LeBron and KD walk through every single day without acknowledging who put the hinges on them. When Jordan pointed all of this out at that dinner, he wasn't being nostalgic or bitter. He was stating facts. Uncomfortable facts that expose how modern superstars have rewritten history to center themselves as the beginning of greatness rather than the continuation of it. One person at the dinner later said Jordan's message was clear. Respect isn't optional, it's mandatory. And if you can't show respect to the legends who built this game, then you don't deserve the platform they created for you. Brutal, honest, and impossible to argue against. Now here's where things get really uncomfortable, because the silence from LeBron and KD after Jordan's comments started leaking has been deafening. As of late January 2025, neither superstar has publicly addressed what MJ said. No tweets, No podcast appearances, no carefully crafted Instagram statements, nothing. And that silence is telling a story all by itself. Social media detectives immediately started digging. Some people noticed that certain tweets from both LeBron and KD around the time of the Magic controversy mysteriously disappeared. Coincidence? Maybe, but the timing is suspicious enough that people are asking questions. Sources close to LeBron's camp claim he's hurt by Jordan's comments. They say LeBron has always respected the legends, that his comments about Magic were taken out of context, and that he never intended disrespect. But here's the problem. If that's true, why hasn't he said so publicly? Why hasn't he clarified? Why hasn't he used his massive platform to set the straight record? Because he can't win this fight, that's why. Going toe-to-toe with Michael Jordan on a question of respect for legends is a losing battle. MJ has the moral high ground, the historical facts, and the support of an entire generation that's been waiting for someone to put modern players in their place. If LeBron responds, he looks defensive. If he stays quiet, he looks guilty. KD's situation is even more complicated. He's built a reputation for being hypersensitive to criticism, for arguing with teenagers on Twitter, for caring way too much about what people think. But against Jordan, he knows better than to engage. Durant is a student of the game, and even he understands that disrespecting Magic while Jordan is watching is a fight he can't win. Their camps have been working overtime behind the scenes to control the narrative. PR teams are trying to shift conversations. Media allies are attempting to downplay the controversy, but none of it is working because Jordan said what millions of people were already thinking. Modern players don't respect the foundation they're standing on. The court of public opinion has already rendered its verdict, and it's not in LeBron and KD's favor. Comment sections are flooded with support for Jordan. Former players are subtly co-signing MJ's stance without directly inserting themselves into the drama. Even younger fans who usually defend LeBron and KD are admitting that maybe, just maybe, Jordan has a point. And perhaps the most damning evidence of all, neither LeBron nor KD has defended themselves against the core accusation that they disrespected Magic. They haven't denied it, they haven't apologized, they've just gone silent and hoped it would blow over. But this isn't blowing over, not when Michael Jordan is involved. This isn't just juicy drama for social media, this is a defining moment in how we talk about basketball history moving forward. The generational divide in the NBA has never been wider than it is right now in 2025. On one side, you have legends who feel like modern players are arrogant, entitled, and ignorant of the sacrifices made before them. On the other side, you have current superstars who feel like older generations can't accept that the game has evolved beyond what they accomplished. Jordan's defensive Magic just turned that divide into a canyon. Other legends have started weighing in, and while most won't say Jordan's name directly, the message is clear. They're supporting his stance. Charles Barkley made a comment on TV about young players needing history lessons. Reggie Miller posted a throwback photo of Magic with a caption about real pioneers. And even players from LeBron and KD's generation, like Carmelo Anthony, have been noticeably quiet, which suggests they might actually agree with MJ. For LeBron, this couldn't come at a worse time. He's chasing Ghost, trying to consent his legacy as the greatest ever, and now he's got Michael Jordan publicly questioning his respect for the game's history. Every GOAT debate from here on out will include this moment. Every comparison between LeBron and Jordan will reference the fact that MJ had to defend Magic Johnson from LeBron's disrespect. That's a stain that doesn't wash off easily. Kevin Durant's reputation takes a hit too, but in a different way. KD has spent years trying to prove he's more than just a ring chaser who joined a super team. He wants to be seen as a pure hooper, a student of the game, someone who appreciates basketball history. But if you truly appreciate history, you don't minimize Magic Johnson's impact. You don't act like your generation invented excellence. The uncomfortable truth that Jordan exposed is this: modern NBA superstars benefit from a system they didn't build, play on a stage they didn't construct, and make money from a brand they didn't create. None of that makes their accomplishments less impressive, but it does mean they owe